Clint, you came into the game as a kid. 20 years old, you were in the big leagues. Sports Illustrated called you a phenom. Did you ever envision back when you were a kid that you'd be in the game, that you would be a lifer?
No, not at all. I don't think anybody at the age of 20 has that kind of maturity to look forward that far. Basically, when I first got in, it was all about me.
Right.
And as I got older, learned some life lessons.
Sure did.
Got mentored by some really good people. I got to a point where I said, this is such a great game. I have so much passion for this game. It'd be really fun to be able to give back in some capacity. And that's kind of what I feel like I'm doing now.
Who are some of the people that had that influence on you?
My first manager was one of my best managers, a man named Gary Blaylock. He was almost an Army sergeant mentality, but he had pitched in the big leagues. Big, strong man, intimidating man, physical presence, but had a heart of gold and had a calming influence upon a bunch of young kids in rookie ball. Taught us some lessons that I remember to this day, and there's a number of us from that team that still stay in touch. I believe one of the reasons was because of Gary's mentorship.
Right.
I had a coach along the way that has continued to bless me, to continue to reach out. Jose Martinez, he works in the Atlantic organization today, but he was involved in my minor league development, spent some time with me in Venezuela as well. My major league managers, I learned a lot from Whitey. I saw Whitey the other day in St. Louis. He still comes by to say hello. You know how humbling that is.
Sure.
A guy in the Hall of Fame that drops down once a series and wants to know if you've got time to
say hello.
To talk to him. Blows you away. Dick Hauser. There's been so many. Marcel Latchman is one of the mentors I have today. So I've been fortunate to have some really good men care enough about me to tell me the truth.
That's right.
Tell me what I need to work on. Tell me where I need to pay better attention. Maybe tell me what I don't need to pay as much attention to as well.
I know that your wife has been a big influence on you and the relationship that you have with God, and kind of a reawakening in your life.
An angel without wings in a lot of different ways. I know how much God loves me by the fact that he brought this woman to intersect into my life, and eventually she became my wife. And that was kind of an interesting story in of itself. We'd spent a lot of time together, and I thought our relationship was getting to a really good place. I had this all figured out. I had this all planned, all written down. I can remember one day I just asked her, I said, about time, we've done so well. Would you marry me? I'd already been married twice, Tom, and neither one of those ended up where you'd hope they'd end up. She looked at me and she said, that's an interesting question. That's a response I'd never gotten before.
No.
Both of my ex-wives had said yes. So I knew I was heading in a different direction. I wasn't sure what direction it was, but she said, no, Clint, there's a lot I love about you. She goes, but I don't think you're at a place in time right now in your life where you like yourself enough until you can find a way to make yourself happy. I don't think you're going to make me happy. So let's see how this works out. I had to go to school. I actually made an old school list out on things what I thought I was doing well, what I needed to work on. And she helped me redirect a lot of energy and actually recommit my life to Christ.
That's right.
And yeah, it's been crazy. 15 years since that time, sober, 13 years married.
Praise God.
Blessed beyond belief. An older daughter, 27, has gotten to watch her daddy grow up in a lot of ways. And I got Ashley in San Francisco, and then Maddie, who's 11 now, and Christian, who's 8. I'm a lucky man.
You're a very blessed man, and you translate that so very nicely. If you were to talk to the players, I don't know that there's a manager in baseball that's more respected, more admired, more appreciated by the players than your team. And that's why, one of the reasons I feel that the Pirates have had the success that they've had this year. How are you able to translate your experiences to some of the younger players where you were at 30 years ago?
Well, I really believe God's gifted us in our own life experience, and there's going to be some men along the way in that clubhouse that they can come to me and we can talk about things. I can tell, I know what you feel.
Right.
And if it's a challenge with a relationship, I know what you feel. If it's an addiction, I know how you feel.
Sure
if it's hype, big draft, Pedro Alvarez type situation, I know how you feel. A lot of times people tell you, well, I know what you mean. I know you look at
You really
walked
don't.
in these shoes. No, you haven't. You know, I get you. I know you love me. You don't get it.
Right.
So hopefully I can be I want to be transparent. That's what I throw out there. I'm a flawed human being that's been blessed. I'm developing some strengths. The players know. I tell them all the time, I need your help. I go to them sometimes and say, look, guys, I need your help. I think that empowers them because you're coming to them. I don't have all the answers. Yes, somebody's put me in charge to be the leader here. I am the manager. But again, I think it's as much about leading men as it is about making decisions during a baseball game. And they kind of go hand in hand. But these guys have been great. They really represent each other well.
Yes, they do.
They're really selfless. And it always is amazing. You read it throughout the Bible, not just see it in everyday life.
Oh,
it's
you're
amazing
right.
what a group of people can do when they all pull together. Nobody cares who gets the credit.
That's right. What would you say to a man that might be watching this about how getting the right priorities in life, and as men we all struggle with getting those priorities, but getting the right priorities means putting God first.
And that's a difficult challenge for some because we feel like we're going to give something up.
Right.
And that goes back to, do you really have ownership of your life? And if you do, how have you done with it? And that's the point I had to get to. Yeah, I had ownership of my life a number of different times. And every time I got to that point where I started looking for help somewhere else. And one of the greatest, I think, comment, or the thing we'll throw out as men is, I got myself into this mess. I'll get myself out. What an oxymoron. I've used it a number of times. The guy that got you into the mess is the same guy who's going to get you out. You know, I finally got to the point that says, God, I've gotten myself into this mess. Help me out.
Right.
You know, I'm tired. It's not a war. It's not a battle. I'm tired. I really need to serve somebody else than myself or my own selfish ego. I want to serve you. I want to give everything back to you. Let you take ownership and leadership of my life. Your will, not my will.
Right, that's it.
Let me follow your lead. Let me develop and grow a servant's heart where it's not about I, it's about them or we. That's where it starts, but it starts with that initial commitment where you just, the load is heavy.
Control.
Put the load down.
That's right. Final question. We know how God blesses us in times of challenge and all of the promises about when we struggle and we go through challenge. And God, your testimony is that God has blessed you through all of those times. But how is God blessing you now in victory? How is God blessing you now with the success that you're having here in Pittsburgh?
Well, you know, the success is a wonderful thing. I look at the success, the employees that have worked here for 18, 20 years, the ability to be a small part of a group that has helped bring joy to so many people at so many different levels, whether it's the man or woman in the street, whether they're in the suburbs, whether it's the guy selling the t-shirts down on the corner, the entrepreneurs that are trying to run restaurants around, the synergy downtown, the electricity in the park. Can you imagine being a season ticket seller here for the last 20 years? And that's what I came in when I first got here 2 years ago. I said, one of my goals is to make your guys' job easier, because that's got to be one of the toughest jobs in Pittsburgh, selling season tickets to Pirates. I think it's an easier job now than it was 2 years ago. In and of the successes, it's never an I told you so. It's a never look at it. This is for God's glory. And the last 2 years we've had challenges, but I believe we've learned through those challenges. I believe we've learned through the hard last 6 weeks or eight weeks to build us up bigger and greater, and to continue to move forward. I don't know what the end is going to hold, but I know my commitment has got to be faithful to Him each and every day I show up here, and to provide the leadership that He's empowered me where He's put me. And there's no doubt in my mind that He's placed me in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania to help make a difference in this ballpark, and more importantly, outside this ballpark.
That's right. Sure has, brother.
Thanks,
God bless you, man. Keep up the great work. Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you. Fantastic. Thank you so